Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're unlocking some really powerful ideas straight from Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Dr. Robert Cialdini. We've been listening to a great discussion on this over at the Mindshift podcast with Jake and Lisa, and, well, we wanted to bring the core of it right to you.
Exactly. Think of this as like your personal cheat sheet to understanding why people say yes. Our mission today is to break down these fundamental forces of persuasion so you can spot them out in the wild and really understand how they shape your own decisions too.
Yeah, it's about getting that aha moment, about why certain tactics they just pull you in. And Cialdini really nailed down 6 of these universal principles. So should we dive in?
Let's do it. First up, reciprocity. This is such a basic human thing, isn't it? This feeling that when someone does something nice for us, we sort of feel obligated to return the favor.
Okay, unpack that a bit. It's more than just like saying thanks, right? It's this deeper, almost a need to balance the scales. It makes me think of restaurants when they bring out that little something extra, like bread, before you even order.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
And what's fascinating there is how even a really small, unexpected gesture can create this subtle pressure. Like Jake and Lisa were saying, that free bread. It can actually make you more inclined to order more, maybe even that dessert you were kind of on the fence about.
Yeah,
It's like a little seed of obligation gets planted.
that rings so true. And it's not just in restaurants. What about those free samples you get at the grocery store? I always feel this tiny little nudge like, oh, I should probably at least consider buying this now, even if I have no intention before.
Precisely. That whole marketing tactic with free samples, that's pure reciprocity at work. There's this underlying feeling, maybe faint, but it's there you receive something, so you feel you should give something back. Even if it's just your attention or, the possibility of buying it, it definitely primes us.
Okay, right. So moving on, commitment and consistency. This one really hits home for me. It's that feeling like once we've said we'll do something or even just think something, we really want our actions later to line up with that.
Yes, that drive to be consistent is incredibly powerful. If we zoom out a bit, it's really about how we see ourselves. We want to maintain a consistent self-image, right?
Mhm.
Both for ourselves and for how other people see us.
So how does this actually play out day to day? Jake and Lisa brought up the example of signing up for a free newsletter. Seems like such a small thing, no big deal.
But that's the clever bit, isn't it? It's that initial tiny yes. Just by giving your email, agreeing to get updates, you've taken that very first step.
Oh, okay.
So later on, when they maybe ask you to buy something, you're just a little bit more likely to consider it because you've already engaged, you've already, in a small way, kind of committed to being part of their world.
That totally clicks. It's like building a little bit of momentum, yeah. And they also mention how this works in relationships, too. Like if someone says out loud, hey, I'm the kind of person who always follows through, they're sort of reinforcing that to themselves, aren't they?
Definitely. That raises a really interesting point about how our words shape our actions. When you state something publicly about yourself, you create this internal pressure, to live up to that declaration. It's that internal drive for consistency again.
Okay, principle number 3, social proof. This is the one where we kind of look around, see what everyone else is doing, and figure, okay, that must be the way to go, right?
Exactly. When we're unsure about something, maybe in a new situation, we often look to other people's behavior as a guide. It's a mental shortcut, really. This assumption that if lots of people are doing it, it must be the right or safe thing to do.
The most popular dish thing Jake and Lisa mentioned, such a perfect example. You're staring at this huge menu, overwhelmed, and then boom, your eyes lock onto that little label. Suddenly, that dish feels like the safest bet.
It's fascinating how deep that runs. We're social creatures, fundamentally. We're wired to want to fit in, follow the group. So highlighting something's popularity taps right into that desire for social validation.
And it's not just menus, is it? Think about shopping online. Those customer reviews and testimonials, that's basically pure social proof right there. If you see hundreds of people raving about a product, you're way more likely to think, okay, this must actually be good.
Absolutely. That sheer volume of positive feedback builds trust and lowers the perceived risk. If so many other people had a good experience, you naturally think you probably will too. And that nightclub example they used, creating a fake line outside.
Oh, yeah.
That's such a classic, almost funny manipulation of social proof.
I've totally seen that. Even if you know zero about the club, a long line just instantly screams, this place is popular. This is where it's at. Everyone wants to be where the action is.
Precisely. The perception of popularity, even if it's totally manufactured, becomes the reality in people's minds. It works.
Okay, principle number 4 is authority. This one feels pretty straightforward. We tend to listen more to people we see as having authority or, like, expertise.
That's right. From when we're kids, we're taught to respect authority figures, parents, teachers, doctors. And that tendency really sticks with us. Even just the symbols of authority can trigger that response.
The classic 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this toothpaste line is the go-to, isn't it? Even if you have no clue who those dentists are, the implied authority of the dental profession just carries weight.
What's interesting, too, is that the authority figure doesn't always need to be a genuine expert in that specific field. Just the appearance of authority can be enough. Jake and Lisa mentioned how someone giving financial advice might be taken more seriously if they're wearing a suit compared to someone in jeans, even if their knowledge is identical.
It's that visual cue, that symbol, triggering our respect. It's a little unsettling, actually, when you think about how easily those surface things can influence us.
It really highlights how important it is to, think critically,
Yeah.
to evaluate the actual substance of what's being said, not just get swayed by the uniform or the title.
All right, moving on to number 5, liking. This one just feels natural. We're way more likely to say yes to people we actually, well, like.
Absolutely. The stronger the positive connection, the rapport, the feelings we have for someone, the more receptive we are to what they ask. It just makes sense.
Jake and Lisa talked about salespeople trying to find common ground, discovering you both love hiking or went to the same college or something. It seems like such a simple tactic, but it can be surprisingly effective, can it? Just building that initial connection.
Totally. That shared interest, or even just a compliment, that feeling of, oh, this person is like me, or this person appreciates me, it creates a sense of trust and familiarity pretty quickly.
Hmm.
We naturally lean towards people we find similar or attractive or who, show us genuine appreciation.
And the explosion of social media influencers really highlights this principle, doesn't it? People feel like they know these personalities, they trust their opinions, partly because they like them, and boom, they're much more likely to buy the stuff they recommend.
What's fascinating there is the development of these, what they call parasocial relationships, one-sided connections. Even though the follower doesn't personally know the influencer, they can develop a really strong sense of connection and liking, making those endorsements incredibly persuasive.
Okay, and finally, principle number 6, scarcity. This is the one that plays on our deep-seated fear of missing out, right? We just value things more when we think they're rare or running out.
Exactly. The perception that something is limited, whether in time or quantity, immediately increases its desirability. It triggers this sense of urgency, this feeling of, I need to act fast or I'll lose out.
The classic limited time only offers are the perfect example. Suddenly, that thing you weren't even really thinking about buying becomes way more appealing just because the opportunity might disappear.
And it's not just time limits. It can be limited quantities, too. Jake and Lisa use that Apple example, showing only a few left in stock. That little message can be incredibly powerful in pushing someone over the edge to finalize a purchase they were maybe hesitant about.
It really taps into that FOMO, the fear of missing out. And it can definitely make us act quickly, maybe impulsively, because we just hate the thought of missing a good deal or a desirable item.
Precisely. That potential for loss is a very, very strong motivator in human psychology.
So there we have it, the 6 principles.
Mm-hmm.
Reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, authority, liking, and scarcity. It's quite a powerful framework for understanding the science of persuasion, isn't it?
It truly is. And the key takeaway for everyone listening is twofold. First, just becoming much more aware of when these principles are being used on you in your daily life. Ads, sales pitches, even social interactions. That awareness gives you a moment to pause, right? To make a more conscious decision instead of just reacting automatically.
Right. Recognizing that exclusive one-time offer for exactly what it is, a scarcity tactic, gives you that breathing room to really ask yourself, do I actually need this, or am I just feeling pressured?
Exactly. And second, to think about how you might ethically apply these principles yourself. They can be powerful tools for positive influence, for getting good ideas across when used with integrity and when you're genuinely offering value, not just manipulating.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the underlying psychology, not about, tricking people. And by having this understanding, we can all become more informed consumers, better negotiators, just more aware in our interactions.
This knowledge really gives you a new lens. You start seeing why certain marketing campaigns are so effective, why certain social dynamics play out the way they do, and ultimately how you can navigate this world of influence with a greater sense of awareness and intention.
So here's a thought to leave you with. As you go about your day now, really start paying attention. Look for these principles in action, in ads, in emails, in conversations, even in your own gut feelings about making a choice. What examples really jump out at you now that you have this framework? And maybe more importantly, how does this new awareness shift how you feel about those subtle forces trying to shape your decisions? Definitely something worth pondering.